Hi, and welcome to the Revolution Baseball Podcast. I'm your host, Alex Oliveira. It's my goal to bring you clear-cut strategies and drills designed to help make you or your program better. With that in mind, let's begin. All right, so today's guest is a former Major League player with a lifetime average of 290. He is currently a player agent and the CEO of She Nation, the certified hitting guru, Jeff Frye. Hey, Jeff, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, buddy.
Sweet. I've been watching your videos online, and I've done a scouting report on you because I want to be, a scout one day. So here's what I've got.
Okay.
Jeff is an athletic mover with impressive barrel accuracy, especially with a hockey stick. Overall, overall functional athlete with great athletic actions, because you've got to use the word athletic to drive the point, and with physicality through contact, even when hitting upside down. What do you think?
Sounds good, man. I think you got spot on.
So it kind of reminded me of the Nigerian scheme that was happening about last decade.
Uh-huh.
People were sending emails from other countries trying to pass as Americans, and you could tell that they didn't really speak our language. So I wondered if that's what was going on with those scouts. So I believe that you've hit the nail on the head when it comes to the alarming trend that we've seen with, like you said in one of the recent videos, the HLP. Um, what do you think? I mean, I think a lot of coaches are kind of scared about saying what's on their mind just because, they're afraid of losing those guys to select clubs, even at the high school level.
Yeah, and I think I think it's just become too much of a cookie cutter type thing where so many of these guys are trying to. Their narrative is that you have to have one certain type of swing to be a good hitter in the game, and I mean we have 150 years of proof that that's not the case.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
anytime you start saying that this is the only way to do something when it's been going on for that long, I mean, it kind of defies logic. And the HLP swing, I know that Richard Shank talks about his baby. To me, is the softball swing.
Yeah.
I don't believe a baseball swing and a softball swing are the same. I just don't. I played them both growing up.
Well, and I think we were talking earlier, once you drop the hands, you're cooked on the high fastball.
Yeah, and that's what
There's,
you see the problem with guys with HLP is they're uppercutting
yeah,
and swinging under the ball. And we were always told to keep your hands above the ball. So it's just kind of what they're selling. And you see a lot of these videos of things that the ball not moving on a tee. And I mean, anybody can hit a ball that's not moving on a tee unless it's with a golf club. That's a little bit different.
right. It's funny because I was at a baseball conference this past weekend, and I saw a tee and I took a picture of it. I was going to send it to you. I'll probably send it to you on on what do you call it, Twitter, just to let you see that tee. It was different. It looked like a Captain American shield. I don't know if
Oh, I
you're.
said, yeah.
I'm sorry. Have you
I
seen
think
it?
I've seen it. It's the one that were you at the Texas high school baseball
Yes.
coach?
Yes.
Okay, that's the official tee of the Texas High School Baseball Coaches Association.
Okay.
The one that
Yeah.
looks like a boogie board on
Yeah.
its side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that. And you have a bar you have to swing under
Under.
to
Yeah.
develop this bat path or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Uh,
seen it.
I thought that was pretty
That was
interesting.
pretty.
So linear versus rotation, where do you stand?
I don't even know the difference.
Okay.
I've
Um,
heard them both. A good friend of mine used to ask me that. I was like, man, I don't know linear rotation. I was like, we're all different. We all whatever works for you might not work for me, and whatever works for me might not work for you. So, my key is getting the barrel of the bat to the ball as quickly as I can and making solid contact, and that's all I focused on.
right. I mean, that's what I tell my. I work in a inner city school, and in fact, most of the time, what I get is, Coach, what hand do I put this glove on? So trying to get the guys from to learn, go from there to becoming a decent, high school baseball player. I basically tell them, we're going to go hands from point A to point B. You are going to rotate your hips, but I focus on the feet a little bit, focus on the hips and then hands. And that's, make it as
Mhm.
simple as I can. So are there any drills that you did at the major league level that you thought were pretty good, that you'd like to share?
I mean, I did the typical drills that I did growing up and in college and stuff. We did, soft toss, mainly soft toss. Um, and in the minor leagues, we started doing it with soft toss with your top hand only,
Okay.
uh, choked up on the bat because we didn't have the shorter bats in
Yeah.
those days. We had, you had your regular bat used in the game. You just had to choke up 8 to 10 inches so it wasn't too heavy. And I do top hand, then
Backhand.
bottom hand for 10 or 15 each one, and then both hands. And just, toward the latter part of my career, they started doing the flips, the underhand flips or the short toss flips
Okay.
overhand. And other than that, it was soft toss and batting practice. And that's it. I didn't work that much off a tee. The only time I really used a tee was when I didn't have anybody else to throw to me.
Okay. So, and it's funny because that's, I was telling you that a lot of the guys that I worked with were at the pro level, and that's what they did. It was literally, let's work on your top hand, let's work on your backhand, and let's work through the ball to the ball. What about, do you have any drills that you would recommend to high school students?
I mean, basically the drills I just mentioned, and unfortunately, I mean, both of my sons played high school baseball, and it just seemed like so much of their time was wasted in the cage throwing to each other or,
Okay.
without coaches because, you got a freshman team, a JV team, and a varsity team, and so many kids and a couple coaches. And it's like there's not enough time to go around. So they didn't get to spend much time having batting practice on the field. And to me, that's the most important
Yeah, I agree
batting
with that.
practice on the field. So you can see where the ball's going. You can't tell in a cage a ball you think you smoke in a cage and the left fielder standing there, 30 feet in front of the warning track can of corn. So you can't
Yeah.
really get a good judge off of just hitting in a cage all the time.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, so I've got 7 questions, from coaches that I asked them. If you had one question you want to ask Jeff Frye, what would it be? So this is from Farley Styles of Covenant Classical in Fort Worth. Besides T work, what would you use to promote a good linear hitting path?
Well, you're gonna have to explain to me the linear hitting path because I'm
I
confused.
I would imagine it's probably going uh, to the ball. I think that's what he means.
Yeah, like I said before, I mean, I don't really focus on one type of path to the ball. It's
Okay.
basically hands up high, directly palm to the ball is what I worked on. And I would still go back. I hate to be redundant, but the same drills: soft toss,
Right.
maybe the short toss, and batting practice, and not focus so much on the path of the swing, um, just as making hard contact.
Okay. Uh, Stephen Campbell from Irving High School. Do you or would you focus on anything with the hips?
Because everybody's different. I never thought about my hips.
Okay.
To me, once your body starts moving, everything is going to if you see somebody who doesn't and only uses their arms and doesn't get any type of rotation,
Then
then I would make adjustments to that person.
right.
But for me, it was just keep my left shoulder square, and as soon as I started swinging, my hips just naturally rotated. I
Gotcha.
never thought about it.
Yeah. You got, like you said earlier, you've got too many coaches trying to teach a cookie cutter approach. All right, number three, Cody Downing he's a coach in Tucson, Arizona. Do you believe that helping hitters enjoy hitting and having fun will yield better results?
100%. 100%. I think that's a big problem in youth sports. Is it's almost like we're turning it into a job for these kids. And I know for me personally, I played baseball because I loved it and it was
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
And as a young kid, we just played all the time because it was fun and we enjoyed it. And I think when you start turning it into more work and a job, I mean, little kids shouldn't have to work.
yeah.
They get to enjoy their lives until they become adults and you have to work. So I would make it fun as long as you can.
All right. All right, Joseph Craig. He is an ACU player currently. He says, what is the biggest adjustment you had to make throughout your career?
Biggest adjustment. Well, as I progressed up through the minor leagues, I think the hardest part was the guys could now throw their off-speed pitches at any time in the count for strikes,
Mm,
and that was tough. And I really started noticing. And once I got to Double A, it seemed like everybody threw harder than they did in A ball, and they knew how to pitch. And so you weren't guaranteed with a 2-0 count to get a fastball down the middle like you were in A ball.
right.
you know and so you had to make sure you refine your approach, because I always believe that just because it's a strike doesn't mean you have to swing. Okay,
Yeah.
if the guy throws you a nasty 2-0 changeup for a strike, you don't have to swing at it just because it's a strike. It's not the pitch you're looking for, and the pitch I'm looking for until I get two strikes is a fastball, and I generally didn't swing at anything else on purpose until I had two strikes.
So, did you break the plate apart? That's one thing that I try to tell my guys is, we're looking for a ball in the outer part of the plate, inner part of the plate.
I did with two strikes. I did with two strikes.
Okay.
My approach, I saw Derek Jeter on the MLB Network talking about his approach, and it was incredible. The first time I heard it, I was like, that's exactly what I did. I looked for a fastball down the middle,
Hmm.
you know, and a lot of times early in the count, I would look middle in. So if he painted one away, I didn't have to swing at it without two strikes. It's
Yeah.
not the pitch I was looking for. And when I really would break the plate down was when I had two strikes. Now I always set fastball, but when I had two strikes, I would look fastball middle away. Okay. And I figured even with two strikes, if you throw me your best fastball middle away, I'm going to hit it hard to right center field. I would think the opposite field gap. Occasionally I would still get the head out and pull it.
Right.
Um, I would think middle away, and then if the guy happened to come inside, man, I just try to fight it off, or just battled to stay alive.
Okay. That's pretty good. Um, all right. So number five, Jesse Siegler he's a coach at Quinlan Ford. Best piece of advice you ever got from Rudy Jaramillo that not only helped you but could help others.
Man, Rudy. First off, Rudy was the man.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to have Rudy as my hitting guy in the minor league. Best piece of advice. I mean, I can't really pinpoint it to one piece of advice. One thing he used to stress a lot was get your foot down. And
Hmm.
even when I was playing against the Rangers and he was coaching the Rangers, I would always talk to him. He'd say, "Man, you're getting your foot down. You're getting your foot down." But basically, I'm getting ready. I'm in a good hitting position, is what he was trying to tell me.
Right.
But what Rudy did for me and a lot of guys was instill confidence in us. We felt invincible having Rudy on our side, and he was just such a positive influence on us that we wanted to go out there and do something, to impress Rudy, because we all had so much respect for him.
So, like, what would you say to make sure that you guys felt comfortable being out there and you guys felt invincible?
No, he was just a fiery guy, man. He was just yelling all the time, and I mean, it was a battle. It was us against them. The other team was the enemy, and I mean, I have some good Rudy stories where he was yelling at the other team across the field and getting. That's just who he was, and we loved him. We love that about him.
Right. Well, I ran into him not too long ago up in Plano. He's still coaching up there at a facility. I forgot the name of the facility though. Art Sonato, he is the head baseball coach at South Grand Prairie. What was it like to face Randy Johnson?
Oh man, it was awesome. It was just the ultimate challenge. I mean, as a professional athlete, or any athlete for that matter, I mean, if you're facing someone considered the best in his field, I mean, it's a challenge. And especially me being somebody who was pretty much an overachiever and not supposed to have even played in the big leagues, to get a chance to face a guy, a Hall of Fame pitcher like this. I mean, it's the
Right,
ultimate challenge. And, I mean, you want to succeed because you want all your friends and your buddies you played with growing up to be proud of you and say, "Man, that's my buddy.
yeah.
He just got a hit with Randy Johnson." So it's like, it's just the ultimate challenge.
That's awesome. All right, this is the last question. This is my question. How can I get certified to be a hitting guru at Shigon Nation?
You're automatically certified, man. I
Woo!
certify you right now.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
attaboy. No, I mean it's so funny, and the way that came about was like when I started doing this stuff. It's like all these guys basically are self-proclaimed experts at hitting, and it's like, well, I'm just going to go ahead and declare myself. If these guys who didn't even play,
Right,
any level of professional baseball are experts, well, I should automatically be an expert because I did. And so
right.
it was just kind of a joke. And but I certify you, man. You're a
Sweet.
certified hitting guru.
All right. I'll put that on my certification on the wall. Um, well, man, it has been becoming. I mean, I had a high school kid tell me 3 years ago, 4 years ago, Coach. Uh, you know, I saw someone online saying that if your coach tells you to swing down, to find a new coach, and I was like, wow, I'm not going to tell you to swing down. I'm going to tell you to swing right through the ball, swing the top left quadrant of the ball if you're right-handed, opposite if you're left-handed. Keep your hands inside the ball. But he actually turned out, man. He hit me one time right here. I think that ball jumped out at 90 miles per hour.
Wow.
That one hurt.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what the the HLP crowd is like. And I think it all came about when Josh Donaldson was on the MLB Network talking about coaches that teach you to swing down. It's not the right way, and that works for Josh Donaldson. And what I've been saying a lot of is that the guys on TV are special, okay, and
Yeah,
they can do things that just normal people can't do. Okay, so the whole copy uh, copy what Barry Bonds or copy what Manny Ramirez and copy what these guys do, to me is a joke because those guys are incredible. Those guys
right.
are the best of the best of the best. And not every little kid in seventh grade can hit that way. So they have to find their own unique swing through trial and error and practice, 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 and develop their own swing and just be as good as they can be with their swing.
Sweet. And yeah, I totally agree with you. And I also think how many of those balls are the inner part of the plate and they're making that adjustment in the game? How many balls of those balls are on the outer part of the plate and they're swinging right through the ball, line drive right field?
Yeah.
So anyway, Jeff, thank you so much for jumping on. Uh, I really appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. You have
All
a
right.
good night.
All right, you too.
Okay. Okay.
Well, that's it for this week. I hope you heard something that you found practical and you can use in your practice to make you or your program better. Please send any feedback to the Revolution Baseball Podcast at yahoo.com. Share this episode with other coaches and others you think will benefit from it. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week.